Hello, Ethereal Beauties. In today's video, we're going to talk about why if you're a pretty girl or you're working towards your glow up, then I believe you should be obsessed with yourself. And right off the bat, I apologize if the audio quality is a little worse than usual. I'm traveling right now and don't have my mic. So we're just going to use this time to have a little chit chat, a little girl chat. I just had some thoughts on this topic as I was in the airport yesterday, and I was like, I should make this an audio. So here it is. So if you've listened to my previous videos, I recounted how I grew up as sort of an ugly duckling. I mean, I wasn't ugly, but I was just never one of the pretty girls. So it wasn't until I was about 21, 22 years old that I really started to glow up and come into my looks. And I'm 23 right now. I'm about to be 24 in a couple months. So it truly hasn't been that long that I've been living as this pretty version of myself. But that aside, when I first started to notice that I was getting more attention for my looks, both from men and women, men obviously like hitting on me more and flirting with me, and then from women and girls like obviously being jealous of me, I would kind of feel bad sometimes for even knowing that I looked good. And this is going to sound crazy, but yeah, I would feel bad for showing up to events or to hangouts with friends and just always being the prettiest one there, not even trying to. That's just how it shook out. And like being the one the waiter flirted with, or being the one who got asked for her number and things like that. But it wasn't until pretty recently, like in the past year, I'd say, where I was like, you know what? I don't want to live like this anymore. I'm tired of dimming my light, or not even dimming it, but just not acknowledging it or downplaying it when I'm around certain people. So yeah, I used to feel like ashamed in a way of my beauty, I guess. I think because growing up, at least in my experience, wanting to be acknowledged for or receiving attention for your looks was seen as a bad thing. It was seen as something that was evil in a way, and that, people should be humble, and if they looked good, they shouldn't talk about it or acknowledge it. But we're in 2025 now, and I think that we can be real about this stuff and talk about it and talk about our own experiences, and I think it's time that we shift that mindset. So being beautiful, being confident, and knowing your worth shouldn't be something that's shrouded in shame. And when you know how to shine, you're not just doing it for yourself, you're also like showing other people what's possible. You're inspiring other girls to step into their power too, whether or not they realize it. I mean, it comes across as jealousy, but as they say, haters are just, closeted fans or whatever. So, when little girls see you looking pretty and beautiful, you obviously take care of yourself, you look happy, you're glowing, you look like a princess, as they usually say. Like, I've had little girls, even teenage girls, tell me that I'm really pretty or call me a princess. In that way, you're also inspiring them. Maybe they come from a household where they're not allowed to look good. They're not allowed to wear makeup or do their nails. Or maybe they are really beautiful, but maybe have a jealous mother or a jealous sister or somebody who's jealous around them. And because of that, they might have internalized that being beautiful and knowing that you are too is something that is wrong or bad. Loving yourself and embracing your beauty is not about being vain or shallow. I actually think it's about the opposite. It's about cultivating a healthy self-esteem and recognizing your worth in a world that, at least in my experience, often tries to devalue you. So when you take pride in your appearance and let your beauty shine, you're showing the world that you value yourself. So I guess an easier way to put this is to think of yourself as a queen or a princess, as I personally prefer to be, but either way, a queen knows her power and she's not afraid to use it. She walks with confidence, her head held high, and she knows that she commands respect and admiration. So when you start seeing yourself as that royal figure, whether queen or princess, whichever one resonates with you more, you begin to embody that same grace and that poise. it was so funny. I was just at the airport yesterday and I kind of did a little experiment. So as I was walking around, from one gate to the next or whenever I had to use the restroom, I was in one of the airport lounges that I have access to, I would purposefully make my posture really straight and also walk kind of slow. And not in a weird way, but just, a slower cadence. It's an airport. People are typically rushing around. I was not in a rush. So I was just walking, at a, slower, more relaxed pace. And I noticed that people, especially other women, of all races, would literally give me way, and not in a normal kind of way. Oh, someone's coming, I'm just going to step to the side. No, it would be in a more reverent kind of way. It was really interesting. But I loved it. It actually happened twice yesterday when I was entering the restroom at the airport. And you know how there's only one entrance to places, of course. So it happened twice where I got to the door at the same time as another girl, and before we could even cross paths, before we even really got close to each other, she would just let me go first and stop and let me go. And these were entrances that didn't have a physical door, so it's not I was holding the door open for these girls either. But I just thought it was so funny how it happened twice in the same day. So that just taught me, and it showed me that when you carry yourself like someone who is important and someone who people should pay attention to and not bow down to necessarily, but I guess kind of in a sense bow down to, you will instantly see just how much power and influence you can have in the world. And it's also funny because this is something I believe as a woman that you can turn on and off. And now that I know that I can turn that side of myself on, I will be, using it a lot more. Because at the end of the day, people, especially other women, are jealous of beautiful women. And I'm actually going to do a video about this soon, about where the jealousy stems from, because I've thought about this a lot and I haven't heard anyone really touch on this specific topic. So if you want to hear that video, then subscribe to the channel. But people always want to try to dim the light of the pretty girl. They don't think you deserve to be pretty. That's where that comes from. They don't think you deserve your beauty. They don't think that you deserve to be catered to and flirted with and treated well simply because you're beautiful. But deep down, they know that if they were even just an ounce as pretty as you, then they would gladly enjoy all of the perks you receive as a pretty girl. So I've just come to realize that people are very, very disingenuous. The things that people quote unquote, seem to dislike about you are the same exact things that they wish they could have. If a girl gets visibly angry when a guy comes up to you at a bar to flirt with you and not her, then that means that she wants male attention. And if she sees you getting treated nicely at stores or whenever you're out and about, that means that she wishes that people would treat her in a kinder manner. If she, makes snide remarks about your outfits that you wear, then she secretly wishes that she could have your body or she could have your sense of style. So if you're a pretty girl, that's already one thing people will find to not like about you, simply that you're pretty. But on top of that, if you dare to know it too, and then acknowledge your own beauty, oh, forget about it. It's all over. Suddenly, it's a problem. Because I've noticed as I was going through my glow up journey that people didn't really take issue with me being pretty because I never really acknowledged it. I would kind of downplay it and, do all that stuff to just make people feel more comfortable. But ever since I've stepped into this more self-assured and more not afraid to shake the table kind of girl, I have people in my life who are clearly pressed about my presence and my confidence. And the thing is, I actually never seek to make other women jealous. I actually dislike when other women get jealous of me. I genuinely do want to get along with other women. I never firstly seek out to have this kind of dynamic with people. But once they show signs of jealousy, that's kind of when I lean more into my self-obsession, especially when I'm around, those kinds of people who I know are jealous of me. And it's not even saying things out loud like, oh, I'm just so pretty, or, oh, I just get so much attention. It's actually way more subtle than that. I think I can actually do a whole video about the tactics I use to make girls and other women who are jealous of me even more jealous in my presence. Because at the end of the day, if you're a pretty girl, they already don't like you. So I personally see no harm in turning up the heat and basking in their jealousy, because I know what it took for me to get to where I am today, and no amount of jealousy from anybody is going to take that away from me. They're not the ones who got the degree. They're not the ones who stayed up late watching YouTube videos about nutrition and healthy food habits. They're not the ones with the successful career trajectory she worked hard to earn. They're not the ones going to the gym 6 times a week when I don't feel like it. They're not the ones meal planning and meal prepping on Sundays to make sure that I eat properly throughout the week. So I know what it takes to be me and to live the life that I do. And I know for a fact that nothing I do in my life is by accident. Everything is strategic. Everything I do, everything I say, everything I wear, everywhere I go, it serves a purpose. So people can be jealous, but they will never know what it means to actually live like pretty girls like you and me. So instead of letting their jealousy bring you down, use it as fuel to further embrace your self-obsession. Flaunt your beauty and confidence because you've earned it. When you shine bright, it doesn't dim other people's lights. And that's where these types of people get it mistaken. No one else can dim your light unless you allow them to. So this mindset shift is crucial because it allows you to rise above the petty jealousies and to focus on what truly matters, which is truly loving yourself, and not in the cliche way, but actually enjoying your own company and enjoying your presence and enjoying living life as yourself. Like where I am today, I would not trade lives with anybody. I genuinely am happy and I'm loving my life. Like I'm having fun. Even though, you go through stressful periods, that doesn't matter because in the grand scheme of things, I like myself. I like my life. So when you start to see jealousy as just another indicator of your glow, it becomes way easier to stay focused on your own path and your own goals. When you're obsessed with yourself, you're setting a standard for how you want to be treated. You're telling the world, I know my worth and I won't settle for less. So this mindset attracts positive energy and people who appreciate you for who you are, and people who also operate on that level or even higher. And as a pretty woman, those are the only kinds of people who you should be around. It's not about seeking validation from others, but mostly about validating yourself. Flaunting your beauty isn't about making people jealous. It's about celebrating yourself, celebrating your accomplishments and your achievements. When you walk into a room with confidence, you're not just turning heads. You're also inspiring other people to embrace their own beauty. You're showing them that it's okay to actually love yourself and be unapologetically loud about it. Because simply put, I think life is better lived that way. Okay, I think that's it for this video. Again, I apologize for the audio quality if it's not that great. But yeah, just a little more casual girl chit chat. Just had to get something off my chest. So I'll talk to you next time. And remember to never, ever dim your light. Ethereal Beauties.